Hello dancers and welcome to day 21 of our Corona Quarantine Daily Vlog. Teacher Joel here talking to you today about head poise. This is a subject that comes on countless times, whether we are ladies or gentlemen, leads or follows, whether we're in group classes or in private lessons, whether we are social dancers or competitive dancers. Everybody is asking, how the heck do I dance my head? Because when we see awesome dancers, boy oh boy do they have these wonderful head poised positions. Let's get ourselves started with the technique for today's class. If you remember anything from today's class or today's video, it is this one thing. Your body action leads your head action. I will repeat this again. This is the main principle. Your body action leads your head action. So, Teacher Joel, let's go into a little bit more detail because possibly you've heard this before, but let's go into a little bit more detail. The body action that I'm going to talk about today is an internal rotation, or what sometimes dancers call a torsion. Now, if we just talk about rotation, what is rotation? It is now this turning angle, this change in a left to right direction, whether it's now turning of the feet, turning of the body, rotation of the body, or torsion or internal rotation. So let's get this down to a very, very specific terminology. And we're going to use the word internal rotation. The rotation that's happening inside of my body at this level, at the chest level. I am not turning my shoulders. I'm not turning my hips. I am doing an internal rotation, and torsion is a very good word. When we have torsion, it's a twist. If you think about a towel and I want to wring out the water, I will twist one end in one direction and rotate and twist the other in the other direction. It becomes really tight and it's really wound up. And this is the same thing we're trying to do now with our body. We're trying to create now an internal rotational capability. I'm going to demonstrate this using first my hand. Actually, I've got this belt and it's going to be used in a second. I'm going to place my hand right on my sternum here. So it's at this level. And what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to place out my left hand. Follow along if you want. If you're going to mirror me on the video right now, you would be moving this. This is my right hand, but it should be your left for now. We're going to do closed position poise, by the way. My left hand is out, my hand is on my sternum. I'm going to have it like a karate chop so it's a little bit more clear about direction. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to move my chest. I'm going to rotate my chest without moving this arm. If I'm now moving this arm, it now indicates that I'm having upper body overall rotation or turn, and this is not what we're trying to do. We're trying to now have this little turn. If I use a belt, because I can now use this, and I'm going to have this here for the remainder of the video. I know it's going to look kind of funny, but I'm going to place a belt on here. You can use a scarf or whatever, and really what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it nice and high. It's right underneath my armpits. Are they sweaty? Nope. Good. And if you notice, I've got this silver belt buckle here on this blue belt of mine. And I'm going to use that silver belt buckle to help demonstrate where my center of levity is. Usually the center of levity is a little bit lower, but my chest or my sternum is pointing. So if I now have my arms out in position, whether it's now my gentleman's or my lady's poise with my arms, I can now rotate. If you see where that belt buckle is, rotate, and you can do this at home and you can see yourself in the mirror and you can see, okay, is that belt buckle, or if you have a scarf, is that specific pattern on the scarf where you tied it, maybe the knot at the front, is it moving in a certain direction? Right now we're specifically talking about turning to the right. If I just turn myself around here just so that you can see and you can follow along as well as you're watching your iPad or phone or computer screen, you can see that there's a little bit of rotation here. We are not trying to rotate the hips. We're not trying to rotate the shoulders. They're trying to be really, really quiet. There will be some more rotation with your right shoulder as you're turning to the right, but we want we want to keep your left shoulder very still, and that's why in our peak exercises, in our peak competitor training classes, we do a lot of this where we're wrapping ourselves around and starting to create this action. This is what we're trying to do. You can see how my left arm is very quiet, and you can see how the belt buckle is starting to rotate. I'm just using my hand as a guide to say, okay, left shoulder blade, start rotating and moving within my back to create that action. Now that we have this within my internal rotation, what I want to be able to do is ask you to create a poise compass. So take a piece of paper, pause the video, copy what we have. We have a horizontal line, we have a vertical line, and off to the right of here, we have about a 45-degree line, okay? Pause it, you got it? Good. Now, from here, what we're going to use this is we're going to use this as a bit of a compass. And you and I are going to fill out this compass during this video together. I'm going to place it out in front of me so that vertical line is pointing out of my chest. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to test how much flexibility we have at our upper spine or through our sternum, and that belt buckle is right there. So right now the belt buckle is pointing straight through that vertical line. I'm going to place it right there so you can see. And now I'm going to kind of peer down and I'm going to put my left arm out so that it helps to stabilize. I don't want to cheat by turning my shoulders. And I'm going to now turn. See how much, boys, how much flexibility. And I kind of look and go, okay. So I'm going to take now my red marker. I have a red marker here. And I'm going to use a ruler and just generally place a line where I think about where my maximum body rotation, internal rotation is in relation to going straight. So there's my straight, and that's my max. Now, let's talk about the head. I'm going to do that same action, and I'm going to now turn my head and my nose. I'm not going to do anything with my body right now. Just going to test my flexibility with my neck. I'm going to turn my head all the way as far as I possibly can, thinking about where is my nose pointing. I don't want to overdo it and actually hurt myself, so please be careful about this. But go, okay, what is my max? And I place that underneath and go, where's Teacher Joel's max? It's about there. Look there. I'm going to place that that red line, and it's about, I'll say estimate about here. Don't have to be so mathematically exact, but we do need to have a general idea of where we are. So now here, in my piece of paper, I have now two red lines. I have my body and my head or my neck maximum. All right, so we have two red lines. You can use just black pens or pencils or whatever you have, crayons, lipstick, eyeliner, I don't know, whatever you have at your disposal. I know that we are always under quarantine, so whatever you have at home, super duper. From here, what we're going to do with this piece of paper is we are going to try to now split. We're going to split the body poise in half. Where is that half? So I'm going to take that, I'm going to make a blue mark, and I'm going to go, oh, I wish my ruler was see-through. This would be much easier, but it's not. So I'm just going to guess. Okay, good enough. So there is now my blue line. Okay, it's a little bit closer to the verticality. Should have been maybe a little bit more over here, but whatever. You can see that now I've split the range of motion of my body in half. So there's the vertical, there's the middle point, which should have been more over there, and then my maximum is the red. I'm going to do now something similar with my head poise flexibility, but I'm going to now split it into 3 parts. So there's the max, and there's going to be 2 more lines in there, hopefully equal, and I'm going to use my blue and then a green marker there. Let's just see, about there. Do this nice and quickly so you guys aren't waiting too long. What the heck is Teacher Joel doing? There we go, maybe around there. Again, I wish I had a see-through ruler. This would have been easier. Okay, so now on this side of my poise compass, this is my head side. This is, again, my body side. This has to do with our closed position. I've got my red, which is my max. I've got split between now 1, 2, 3 sections. I've got my blue and I've got my green. They should be about equal, okay? So from here now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to label these. One. Oops. 2, and 3. And I'm going to label this 2 and 3 and 1. Okay. I have now labeled these lines. Can we see what's happening there? Pause. Label your lines. So the maximum is number 3, number 3. Next one will be 2. There's my blue. I've used blue to kind of match those. And then 1 is going to be the vertical line as well as my head poise number 1. Pause the video if you need to figure out what's going on here. Now, this is going to be a general relationship between now our body action and our head action. So when my body wants to go, or I should say when my head wants to go all the way to 3, my body should be rotating all the way to 3 in this opposite direction. Remember, we're talking about opposition. Body has an opposite rotation to the head, or I should say the head has an opposite rotation to the body. If I wanted to get my head to go to about 2, that's where I would go with my body. And if I wanted to go head position 1, then my body would just be forwards or neutral. So if I now demonstrate this, my belt. So here's Teacher Joel. Now I am facing position number 1 for my body, and there for my head would be, dink, there is now poise level 1. So body is 1, which is straight, head is 1. Actually, you could probably do this here, although the numbers are upside down for you. There we go. Now, as my body starts to now rotate a little bit more to my right, my head is going to rotate a little bit more to my left. So I'm going to go to 2, 2, and now I'm going to go to 3, 3, and then I'm going to go back on 1. Good. Or actually go 1 with the head, 1 with the spine. I want you to understand that relationship. You can place that right underneath and you can kind of go, okay, well, where is that belt buckle going? So it needs to go all the way to there, and my head's going to go all the way to there. This is a basic relationship pattern, and I want you to be able to practice this. What I don't want you to do, and this is the big misconception, is that ladies or gentlemen, we get ourselves up and we know that we have to get our heads, and we just turn our heads, bump, and we go and we say, oh, I watched this YouTube video and the world champion had their heads way out over there. Wow, so I'm just going to go, I'm going to copy them. And then off you go and you dance and you think, oh gosh, my head hurts. And then when I look at the pictures, my head looks all funny. My neck looks all twisted. What's going on here? But what you're seeing is the results. The head is the result of a body action. Now, right now in this video, I'm only talking about rotation. There are other dimensions that are involved, such as frontal and even a little bit of sway. And we're not going to go into that because that gets insanely complicated with all these different variables. But the rotational component is the main component that talks to the head, because we're talking about the head turn the poise to the left. Now, if you're wondering how does this work, if I wanted to go to Promenade and turn it to the right, everything just gets flipped around. So if I wanted now to turn my head to the right for my Promenade, I would have to now rotate my body to the left, my center, my torsion to the left, to create even a further, if I do it in this direction, an even further turn with my nose. Now keep in mind there is a difference between what's happening here at my sternum and here with my shoulders. Do not get me wrong, do not misunderstand this information, that now all of a sudden my Promenade has my right shoulder really, really forward and cranking my head to the right. This is not what Teacher Joel is asking you to do. The shoulders dance where the shoulders should dance. If in Promenade position, the shoulders should be there, we're perfect, good. Now what happens with the body though? This is a different element. This is a different action. There's isolation within our bodies. There are many different levels. Just like we do in our peak warm-ups, we talk about different rotations, whether it's now hips, through the center, through the upper center, through the shoulders, neck, head. So we go through all those different levels, and this one little action is going to help us just understand that relationship between here and here, between our nose and we can say our sternum. Or we could say our shoulder blades and our nose. Again, I'll say our shoulder blades, which now help to dance the sternum and the nose. So again, if we go back to a super duper basic idea, it is body, leads the head. We're not going to throw the heads. And I know this is going to be a little controversial, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Do not, please do not throw your head backwards like this. It is just terrible. Do not do that. I'm going to demonstrate this one more time. This isn't ballroom dancing. This is something completely different. I'm sorry if you have something like this in your choreography. Please rethink that, because unless we're trying to do this sort of action, I'm not understanding what in the world people are trying to do in terms of leading and following and having just a pure frontal action. There's got to be more than just a frontal action that's just going to flip the head back. And boy, oh boy, some of those positions I just have to question. All right. That's my little opinionated thing. I've tried to keep my opinions to a minimum, keep it to factual stuff for you guys to learn and improve your dancing. That's it for now. Don't forget your compass, play around with it, dance around the house if you like, keep it down here, figure out what's happening, become a better dancer. Again, as usual, I'm expecting you guys to be better each and every day because of each and every video. That's why I'm putting it out there. I'm hoping that when I see you guys at the ballroom next, you guys are going to be so much better. I'm going to say, you picked up on day 21. Your head position is so much better. It's looking a lot more connected to your body action. Awesome. Thank you very much. I really enjoy you guys coming and watching these videos. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.